Good morning and welcome to Rockstar UK. In this episode I've got a bit of maintenance that I've got to do on the little Fiesta Zetec S turbo diesel daily, so I thought I'd bring you along and show you what I've got to do. Now, I've had a bit of a problem with the car sort of since I bought it, where I have an intermittent fault with the EGR valve. Quite a common fault, so I've got a new one. I'm going to take you through changing it, putting a new gasket on, all the bits you've got to take off. It's quite a simple job, it's just very fiddly. There's a lot of little bits to do, so let's get to it. So this is my 2008 Ford Fiesta tdci. It's a 1.6. It's been a very reliable car. I've just got to do the EGR valve, which is situated at the back of the engine. Now we have got to take all of this off, which is basically removing clamps, removing pipework, sensors, and then underneath here you've got the fuel filter and fuel heater, which has all got to come out the way just so you can access that area of the engine bay easily. So first of all, we'll unplug the sensors, we'll undo these, pull off all the pipes and stuff that need to come out the way. This is literally just clipped on, so this will come off and it comes off as a whole unit. Then we'll get to the EGR valve. So as you can see here, this is your fuel filter and your fuel heater is like attached to this as well. Now we need to get this clamp like hose out the way, so this clip here. The fuel filter is literally, there's this little clip here that you just squeeze and it will pull up out the way, so you don't have to worry about bleeding it. Now we've got to get to some of these little bolts that are here and one that sits down in here, so you can just pull the bracket out the way to give yourself some easy access to the EGR valve, which is sat here. So yeah, next step, you'll see all of this removed, and then we'll start looking at the EGR valve itself. Right, okay, so we've got the fuel filter out the way. Now this little bracket here, you've got 1, 2 and a lower one down here, 8mm bolts, which look like this. They need to come out. Now that literally just slips out the way. It literally is just a holder for the fuel filter. So your fuel filter is free to move now. This is the EGR valve. I've unplugged the clip. Now here we have this little spring clip here that you can just use a screwdriver to unclip that and then just peel it away and just put it down the pipe a little bit. And then on the back there's an 8mm bolt there, and there's one slightly lower down over here. So once you've basically got those two out the way, that's ready to come off. You can see there where the gasket is that it makes the EGR valve. So basically on the engine, the exhaust gases come back round and then go back through the head, or whichever way it goes. But the EGR valve is obviously the exhaust gas regulator valve. A lot of people blank these off because why would you want dirty air getting back into your engine? Now some engines will give you a fault light if you do that. The 1.6 turbo diesel hasn't got a flow meter, so you can effectively blank that off if you wanted to. That's down to you. It's not MOT passable, but up to you. So let's whip the EGR valve off and I'll show you what it looks like. So EGR valve is out. This is that little spring clamp I'm on about. It just clips around this sort of like V-band style flange, and then you can see here, this is where it goes in, like a bit like a right angle union. So this is the EGR valve itself. That's the bit that mates to the the head of the engine, and that's the port. It's just an actuator. Oh, that doesn't sound good, does it? Clickety click. So that's the actuator, and we're going to replace that because they get gunked up and it shouldn't do that. So yeah, let's replace it. This is the new EGR valve I've got. A new gasket. So it's nice and clean. So we'll stick that onto the car. Right, so new EGR valve is on. Put the clip on, put the gasket in, and then we've got, oops, sorry. Then we've got this plug to clip on there. Make sure that ain't going anywhere. Then basically put this bracket back on, slide the fuel filter back in there, do up all your pipes, and then put your air box back over, which goes into this one, and then we'll try it out. Right, so I've got all the cover back on, this is all done up, sensors are in, it's all pushed back into place, so let's give it a start. So I've got keys. Okay, so in my car, mobiliser first. Bear with me trying to do this one-handed is quite tricky. There we go, right. So she starts up. Now this will be on at first. Get rid of that, copyright and all that. So this will be on at first. You'll probably have to get it plugged in via your port down there and get all your codes erased, but she revs really well. Now what I was experiencing is when I first started it up, it was lumpy, as in like I was getting a little bit of smoke and stuff, so she wasn't happy, but it would like really go slow, then all of a sudden boom, it would rev. So now all good, so she's happy. Right, so I've just placed it on a scanner using the port that's down here. I cleared the codes, and as you can see, there is no engine light now. So she picks up and she drives really nicely. So yeah, finish that then. So if you like the video and this gave you a bit of help towards doing it yourself, then please give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.